Hartlepool MP Jill Mortimer caused a storm in Westminster earlier this month when she claimed that migrants had besieged her office.
My staff are intimidated by young men. The fact is, most of them are illegal migrants who should be expelled.
But critics said that these comments could fuel hate crimes and scaremongering and played into racist stereotypes about migrants. I sat down with the Tory MP to find out what was really going on.
Are you angry at the Home Office and indeed your own Home Office team for the fact that your staff are facing intimidation from people who have been refused the leave to remain but are still in your town? Is there not a dereliction of duty from your own government towards protecting your staff here?
Let me tell you now that whatever has been going on in the past, I have absolutely every faith in Robert Jenrick, the Immigration Minister, to get a grip on this now, and Suella, the Home Secretary. I know that they are as anxious as I am to deal with this problem, and I have every faith that they will.
Despite the MP saying that intimidation by migrants had been a problem since she came into office, she still said that she had faith in the government to get a grip on immigration. Her team showed us footage supporting claims that migrants regularly gather outside their offices, often in groups. The MP's office manager told us about her experience.
I will get a crowd of 2 or 3. I've had up to 20 young men at the door. They press on the bell. When they don't get an answer on the bell, they knock on the windows, then they kick the door, then they press the bell again, then they ring the phone. When I first started, I did used to open the door and let people in and speak to them, because obviously we're here to help. But then it was, I'd go to the door and they'd push past and just walk straight in. And I've got to look after the staff in here. I can't have 5 or 6 young men storming into the office. I generally don't feel intimidated, but if you get a gentleman to the door and I'm going to get their documents and they push past me and push that door to get in, then yes, that's intimidating. It's not a nice feeling. I do have younger staff members in the other office. We've got no protection once they're in here.
But how does it feel to have your personal experience or being intimidated described as racist stereotyping? How does that make you feel? Do you feel like you're being...
It's annoying. It makes me angry and it's disappointing as well. I think they're prioritising political correctness over the safety of anybody. It's like, we don't matter. We're just here to serve. But what's going to happen if something happens to us? Are they going to come in and do it instead? Or are they going to say, oh, well, you know, that shouldn't have happened? How far does it have to go? Do we have to be hurt? Is that what they want? They want somebody to be hurt so that we can then say, oh, well, actually, she probably wasn't racist, or are they going to say, well, she deserved it because she was racist?
Jill Mortimer and her team reported intimidation by asylum seekers and illegal migrants in Hartlepool. But locals in her town said that the government was not doing enough to deal with this situation. Do you think the government is paying enough attention to the concerns of people in Teesside in general and Hartlepool in particular?
The government never pay any attention to the north. It's always been a north-south divide, and it's always going to be that way. Is it ever going to change? Probably not. Jill Mortimer's probably shouting her mouth off and nothing's going to get done about it. They're more interested in banning a bulldog breed than sorting issues like this out.
Charlie Peters, GB News, Hartlepool.
Well, that was Hartlepool. I'd be very keen to know whether this sort of thing has been happening in your town. Not for tonight, but for future programmes. Let me know, farage@gbnews.com. And Charlie Peters joins me now in the studio. Well, it does appear, does it not, that Jill Mortimer, the Member of Parliament for Hartlepool, was telling the truth?
And we can only show just a portion of the footage that we saw last week. There were dozens of clips, just like the ones we've just broadcast, of groups of men, sometimes families, in one case 5 or 6, gathering outside that door, knocking on the door, often phoning the office while they're there. And some of the testimony we heard from the staff that they had felt intimidated, as they claimed 2 weeks ago, but also that there had been incidents when they'd come to the door, pushed through, and they'd felt as though they'd been assaulted by these groups seeking to get an appointment, because they've been told that if you go and speak to the local MP, you can get your claim sorted out, the Home Office will rush it through. They don't have those powers, they can't do it, but this rumour spreads and these incidents occur. And, well, they were described as racist scaremongering claims when Jill Mortimer raised this.
No, they were, and she was given quite a tough time in some of the newspapers for daring to... Well, she also said we should deport people who've come here illegally, and that obviously further inflamed those that seem to think the channel should be open to almost everybody. Now, Charlie, it seems to me, and you know, I've just asked our audience the same question, that if this is happening in Hartlepool, and if, as you say, the narrative has spread, and you know, given social media and TikTok and all these things, we need to find out how widespread this problem is.
And it's worth noting that Hartlepool is generally considered by the state and by the government as quite a successful town for dealing with illegal migration and the huge asylum seeker backlog, in part because there are no usages of hotels in Hartlepool. They're very proud about that, the local party up there. They don't actually use hotels to store migrants.
No, but there are plenty of private houses that are being rented. I mean, that's how they're doing it, isn't it?
And walking around the town, we did see people just hanging around nearby areas that we presumed and were informed were used by asylum seekers, and people who'd had their claims rejected were still there. And this is the cause of the complaint by Jill Mortimer. Not only is her office dealing with people knocking on the door, intimidating her staff, besieging her office as she claims, but also many of the people doing that have been told, you need to go. Your asylum process has been rejected, and yet they're still there. And that's the cause of their rage. And you can imagine their frustration at that news and being that female staffer facing that intimidation and being told that you're playing up to racist stereotypes and you're scaremongering. We've contacted the people who made those claims. We've told them about the footage we've seen. Funny enough, we haven't had a response.
No, and that chap you interviewed anonymously at the end, you know, who said whatever Jill Mortimer says, he's got the feeling that nothing will change, nothing will be done, and frankly, if we move people out of hotels and put them in private houses, I mean, what is the difference anyway? It's just more diffuse within society. Well, Charlie, I think it's very interesting that you went, and we've backed up what she had to say in the House of Commons, but we do need to find other MPs, and I'll bet you there'll be Northern MPs, both Labour and Conservative, because, as you know, the vast majority of people that come in through Dover, we'll send them to the north of England, and that's where the burden is. So will you go and find me some more MPs?
Absolutely, and if anyone wants to have GB News come and investigate, no other broadcaster was willing to look at that footage. We can prove it. If the same problem's going on in your town, let us know and I'll be there.
Absolutely. Well, Charlie, they're backing up exactly what I said to you a couple of minutes ago. If you know of this problem in your town, if you're a member of Parliament and you're having the same problem that is being had up in Hartlepool by Jill Mortimer, let us know, because we want the truth to come out.